Okay, so this is the lesson on how to do a mole-to-mole conversion. So in our first unit, we practiced going moles to grams, grams to moles, and we also did moles to fam and fam to moles. But this is what a sample question kind of looks like, right? Like how many moles are in 12.5 grams of H2O. So we would put 12.5 grams on the top because that's what we start with, over 1. And then because G is right here, it also goes on the bottom. And then we would use the molar mass and we plug it into the calculator and we would get this answer right there. So we've only converted stuff for one chemical so far, but the question is like, what happens if we want to go from one chemical to another? So you're going to see this set of instructions very often in the videos that you're going to watch. And just know that these instructions are here to help you. And so we're going to walk through some practice problems so that you can kind of see what's going on. And we're going to use these instructions as a guide. So let's get to it. Okay, so it says how to solve mole-to-mole conversions. So something I want you to notice is that we have this equation up here because we're going to need it. And then it says how many moles of Cl2 are needed to produce 3.2 moles of KCl. All right, so the first instruction, here's what it says. Annotate the problem. Here's what this means. It means that we're going to underline and we're going to box. And then it says summarize. What we're going to do is we're going to say our starting unit and chemical, and then we're going to draw an arrow, and we're going to put our ending unit and chemical. So if we follow these instructions, we're going to start by underlining 3.2 moles of KCl, because that's what the problem gives us. Then we're going to put a box around what the problem is asking us to find. So it says, how many moles of Cl2? What I want you to notice is that with the Cl2, it's different than the KCl. So we're going to summarize what they want us to find. So we're going to start with moles of KCl, and then we're going to go to moles of Cl2. So that's what we're going to be finding in this problem. All right, so the next step, that was step 1. Now we're on step 2. The next step says set up your starting fraction with units and chemicals. Guys, this is no different than what we did last unit. So we just look at the problem, and the problem gives us 3.2 moles of KCl. It is really, really important that you put the chemical after the unit. So you have to write moles and you have to write KCl. And then on the bottom, just like normal, we're going to put a 1. And then the next step says that we are going to set up units and chemicals of the conversion factor. Well, when we're doing mole-to-mole conversions, our conversion factor is mole ratio. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up our next fraction, and this is going to be our mole ratio. If you remember, when we did this in class, we called this the old and this the new. And we're going to put the old on the bottom, and we're going to put the new on the top. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to put moles of KCl on the bottom, and then we're going to put moles of Cl2 on the top. Now I want to show you that we put moles of KCl here, and just like normal, it also belongs down here. Very good. All right, the last step, now that we have our units and chemicals set up for our conversion factor, is step number 4, which is find the numbers for your conversion factors. So it says MM for molar mass, AV for Avogadros, or MR, which is mole ratio. And mole ratio is what we're going to do. So what we do is we're going to find Cl2 in our equation up here at the top, and we're going to look for that big number out front. If there is no big number out front, then the number is 1. Then we look for KCl, and we look for the big number out front, and that is 2. And then we have our fraction. And then we finish it off like we normally do. We put this in the calculator, and we would do 3.2 divided by 1 times 1 divided by 2, or you could just do 3.2 divided by 2, and you're going to get 1.6. So 1.6 is the answer, but we need a unit and we need a chemical. So our unit is going to be moles, and our chemical is going to be Cl2. It's very important that you write the chemical because we're switching from one chemical to another. If you ask, how do I know that moles of Cl2, it's not something different? How do I know? Well, you can look right here, moles of Cl2, or you can look at what we boxed, moles of CO2. That's what it's asking for. That's going to be our unit, moles of CO2, Cl2.